Unite Round is only a couple of days away, and my god, I'm excited for it. Like, I never thought I'd be more excited about an event in, like, ever for the A-Leagues, especially after the grand final deal got scrapped. And the replacement that it has with this Unite Rounds, oh my god, it's gonna be fantastic. It's gonna be absolutely incredible. And if some of you are new here, welcome to Alpex FC. I pretty much don't care about my sport vlogs anymore, so but either way, we got Unite Round happening. If you don't know what Unite Round is, basically it's kind of like Gather Round in AFL and Magic Round in NRL, where all games for the weekend are gonna be played in one location. We're gonna have Unite Round in Sydney. People are thinking, really, Sydney and all that bullshit, but it's actually a good idea. Like, of course, I wish we had this sort of thing, you know, elsewhere, like Melbourne, Brisbane, wherever, but, you know, obviously Sydney is the best place, because, you know, they have all the rectangular venues. Unfortunately for Melbourne, we have, like, none. We just have Amy Park, and I guess there's also Lakeside Stadium as well, but that's a shit football stadium. But still, Unite Round, I'm just so excited for. Like, everything about it just looks fantastic. And me also going to 3 double headers over the weekends, which is, that's 6 matches total. I mean, I wish I could go to more, but, you know, that's just how the scheduling goes. I'm excited for it. I know I keep saying I'm excited for it, but still, like I love the A-Leagues. I really do love the A-Leagues so much, and this is just another example of why. I mean, I guess we'd love a full home and away season like usual, but again, this is better than the grand final deal. This is what should have happened in the first place. Instead of giving the grand final away to Sydney, we would have won our grand final if it had been in Amy Park against Central Coast. But I mean, this is the apology from the A-Leagues and the APL, and I can accept that. I know some people won't, but I will, because I mean, I won't apologize for the fact that grand final deal happened and that it forced us to lose the grand final last year. But you know what? I still think they've recovered well enough with Unite Rounds. And it looks insane. It really does look insane. I mean, apart from the ticket prices, I mean, that is quite something. Once again, this is still going to be an unbelievable event, regardless of ticket prices or not. And I don't really know much about the 3-day pass. It says you can receive 1 ticket. They'll grant access to all matches at all venues, which is quite a good idea. Like, if you want to go like any matches instead of just having specific ones, the 3-day pass, that is a good idea. I can see how well that would work out. I mean, it is unfortunate you can't sit anywhere. I mean, of course, like, obviously the fan areas, there will be fan areas dedicated to which team is going to be playing at the venue. Obviously, like, it should be like, you can expect a lot of neutrals watching games when they're using the 3-day pass. So I think it makes sense with the general admission. Now, it is unfortunate that you can't attend games with your club membership. I mean, it probably I don't know how I feel about that, because I remember City and Central Coast members, I think anyway, they were granted access to like bus trips and like planes and like travels and accommodation and whatnot for the grand final. I don't see why that couldn't have been implemented with Unite Rounds. I don't know how I feel about that, but yeah, I feel bad for people that don't want to be spending that much, and for people that are members for their club. And another thing to tweet as well is that for the A-League men's, the Unite Round's an additional round, 27th round, but for the women's it isn't. It'll just correlate with the existing rounds in round 12. But like, I don't see why. There might have been something, maybe there's some reason behind that, but I honestly can't see why the A-League women doesn't have an additional round, but the A-League men's does. And here's another interesting thing about Unite Round. There'll be different bays for different club fans. There'll be an active supporter and fan supporter bays. I can understand that. Like, obviously you don't want just like one bay where people who like to do chants and people who just like to just sit and watch in just one bay. For Unite Round, I can understand that. It's good that they're separating the active bays and the general bays for your club, which I do think is fair enough. And can you use the Liberty A-League pass in Unite Rounds? Yes, that's good, because there has been a lot of Liberty A-League passes that has happened already this season as we approach the new year. It's a good idea that the Liberty A-League pass is in, because a lot of kids will be keen on this as well. And it's good that with the Liberty A-League pass you can attend any of the women's matches. Want to sit with Liberty A-League pass holder at Unite Rounds, which ticket type? General admission, obviously. Like, if people are going to Unite Rounds, I think that general admission is the right bay to be at, because I don't know, I mean, I guess you want to be with your club fans as well. But like, for Liberty A-League pass holders, I mean, if they have it, all they want to do is just attend the women's games, regardless of which team is playing or not. I think that is why Liberty A-League pass exists, because obviously at the back end of the Women's World Cup, which was an absolute success, like, obviously there'll be a lot of young kids that will be wanting to go to a lot of women's games. That is the idea behind the Liberty A-League pass. I think the general admission would make sense for that. Now here's an interesting thing about this. Why can't I purchase a pass just to attend my club's games? They said they've investigated very carefully the possibility of offering such a pass for an event made up of double headers across multiple venues, and it was found to be technically impossible, which is fair enough. Like, you're not going to be having, if you have a pass to attend clubs games, I feel like that's just going to be at least too much for the A-Leagues. Public transport is allowed as well, which is good. And just like the grand final deal, I think I didn't do anything with the grand final deal because I boycotted the shit out of it. But with the Unite round travel, it's good that tickets or it's good that tickets are getting you accommodation. Well, they're getting you discounts of them. Obviously, I mean, again, with the prices that seem very high, it's good that there will be at least discounts on accommodation. And there won't be any travel packages, unfortunately. How can you access them? You can elevate them with the Unite round experience. They'll be available across all venues, so that's good. Obviously, that's Unite round. We know about Unite rounds. Now, I won't see anything that will change about this, but because the women's Unite round is part of an existing round, there'll be some instances where the home team or team one of one Unite round game that they will have some advantages. I don't see how that's going to happen. Like for the grand final, like the men's and women's grand final with Melbourne City and West United, I don't see how the advantages could have worked out for them. Danny Townsend saying they'll have the good active area and the change rooms. Just no, it didn't work at all. Especially for the fact that Melbourne City in the men's grand final didn't get given the safe standing area, and Central Coast did. And obviously the most important thing about this, I would say, is the men's and women's grand finals are back to the hosting format, the traditional one, the highest ranked semi-final winner. The grand final decisions shouldn't have happened at all. It should have been Unite round first thing, and it took us 10 months to get to this point. Now, I'm going to go through my predictions for this. We'll start off the men's one. MacArthur versus West United. I mean, people are saying that it's probably going to be the lowest attended one because, like, they're the lowest attended teams or the lowest attended clubs of all. But then again, they could be right. But then again, there's also City and Western Sydney happening after. I do think that there will be some City and Western Sydney fans that'll be there as well. I said that that it'll be a draw between MacArthur. Like, nothing against either one. Like, I like MacArthur. I'll be honest, I do like their fans and their club. I would, and shocking as it sounds as a City fan, I don't mind West United, but it's not about that, it's about the performances. MacArthur, they will be in New South Wales, so I think that'll be that sort of advantage. But I don't know, there's been something about MacArthur that they haven't been doing so good lately, so I would say a draw. And this is a hot take on this one. I said that Melbourne City would win against Western Sydney Wanderers at CommBank Stadium. At their home ground. Now, shocking to say this, but despite the fact that Wanderers are at their home ground, City are doing so good right now, and Western Sydney, they haven't been fully on track these last few weeks, but City, like they have been pretty much over the past few seasons, they always have a decent consistency of performances in games. So that's why I said that I think that City would win this one. And Central Coast against Victory at Allianz, I think Victory will win this one. Nothing against Central Coast, but I feel like, I mean, it's a neutral game for both, so I don't see any advantages for both, but Victory has just been doing phenomenal this season. I think that Victory will win this one. And then after that, we got Adelaide against Sydney FC. This is a very interesting one, considering what happened last time with 5-1 upset against Adelaide early on in the season. And Sydney, like Western Sydney, they are at their home grounds, but Sydney haven't done as good as they should. And Adelaide, I feel like Adelaide does have some sort of hope for themselves every week, despite the fact that they can't always get over the finish line each and every single week. So I thought a draw is going to be what's going to happen. Then on Sunday at Allianz and CommBank, we got Brisbane Roar against Newcastle. Both teams are not doing as well as they should. And Brisbane, I only said Newcastle would win because Brisbane is in a lot of trouble right now. Like, they're switching coaches and they're not getting the average performance they usually do. And Newcastle, I think they've been doing alright, surprisingly. Even though they're 10th on the table. And then we got Perth against Wellington. Perth, Glory, man, I'm trying my best to say that Perth are doing alright, but they're really not. And Wellington, they've been doing amazing so far this season, so I really do think that Wellington will take out the win. I'm not like saying this is definitely going to happen because predictions can just be completely thrown off because football is a very weird game, but those are my predictions. And we'll go to the women's one now. First up, we got Melbourne Victory against Perth Glory. With Melbourne Victory, they've they didn't start off well, but then they've recovered well with a 6-match unbeaten streak. But now they've really fallen off again, and them being against Perth Glory, they've also sort of fallen off as well. I'm not saying they completely have. They're still pretty much top of the table, apart from City. They've been top of the table for the past for the first 4 or 5 rounds. So Perth Glory is still as good, but I don't know, man. Perth Glory, since they lost 2-0 to Wanderers, a shock win over that. I was watching Perth Glory against Western Sydney. Perth Glory just weren't at it. They really weren't at it at all. And Victory, they do have a strong side. They just can't really get their performances in lately. As well as Perth Glory, so I'll say it'll be a draw. Then after that, we've got Wellington Phoenix against Central Coast. I wouldn't say either of them are as strong as others. But I do think it'll be a draw. I don't know how much they'll win by. I can't change things. I don't know why. But with Wellington and Central Coast, Wellington has been doing alright, but Central Coast have been pulling out a few upsets. Actually, maybe not, but they haven't been losing too much, Central Coast. And against Wellington, they didn't seem to hold their performances that well either. So I'll predict a draw. Now, here's my bold take on this one. Canberra United against Adelaide United. I'll say that Canberra will win. Now, Canberra have not won in a while, and they've only won one this season. But at the same time, Adelaide, I don't know what's with Adelaide. They just haven't been playing proper football lately. And while Canberra has, they are 3 draws in a row, Canberra. So they haven't been losing a lot, and we can see that from their actual decent performances. There's just something about Adelaide that I just don't see. I just don't see them getting a good result out of this. So I do think that Canberra will take out the win. And Brisbane Roar against Newcastle. Brisbane Roar had an upset victory against Wellington 2-1. But like the men's team, they haven't been performing decently as well either. There were, I think there were 8 winless. I mean, despite the fact that some games they were putting decent performances, that most times they just weren't. And Newcastle, they've been decent. I was watching some of their home games. They were incredible. They were good to watch, Newcastle. I'm not saying that they always win, but there's just something about Newcastle that they're just playing really good football at the moment. So I think Newcastle will win this one. And obviously with Western Sydney and CommBank at their home, well, they're part home against Melbourne City. I still think City will be too strong. They're dominating the league right now. They're pretty much doing incredible against all other opponents that they've played this season. I do think City will take out the win. So that's all I can say about that. Now this one's interesting. The grand final rematch. It'll be West United against Sydney FC in Sydney. And I can understand that there'll be some West United fans complaining that they won't get, yet again, they'll be taking a home fixture taken away in Sydney, which is understandable, but I mean, it isn't a finals match, it's just a one-off regular season game, and the fact that Sydney did win 4-0 in Sydney, but because of that, I do think, nothing against West United, they have a strong side, but Sydney have been performing decently as well, especially in Sydney, so I do think that Sydney will win. I don't think they'll win by a huge lot, although there might be, because I can't predict everything accurately, but because it's in Sydney and West United against Sydney, I do think Sydney will win this one. So those are my predictions. Again, some disadvantages will take place, I do think, for some of these games, but then again, football is about team performances. It's not generally about, okay, if they're at home, they're gonna win, or if they're at their home ground, they're just gonna win. It's not all about that. But again, this is just the one-off thing. It's the one-off thing. It's not they're not some of the more important games like the grand final. It's why that Unite round is 10,000 times more better than the grand final deal, because getting a home advantage grand final just ripped from your hands like Melbourne City and West United did last season. Just no, that's just crudely unfair. And this is what I want to say to people that don't like Unite rounds. It's a one-off round. Yes, I get it that, for example, City against Western Sydney, they're both at CommBank, that Western Sydney will get huge advantages, and City has had a bad record at CommBank Stadium in terms of neutral games. But even if City don't do well as they should, we still get to host Western Sydney men's later on in the season because it's a duplicated fixture. Again, I don't know why it's the same for the women's, but for the men's, that's what matters. The fact that this is an additional round instead of it replacing an existing round. For the negativity around Unite rounds, I just don't see why. I mean, people would say because, oh, we're not going to forget what Danny Townsend did with the APL and give the grand finals to Sydney and all that. But It's literally gone and changed into Unite rounds. The least we can do is just accept APL's apologies and support Unite round. Because the reason behind the APL getting behind some sponsors and governments, if they want to promote professional sport, you can do that, but not with the grand final. Unite rounds, this is exactly what should be done if they want to invest in professional sport. This is absolutely perfect. Unite round is just a perfect concept for football in this country. And because of the 3-year deal, we might get this again, which is a good thing. Like, there might not be too many people attending, and even if there is low attendances with Unite rounds, and even if it's a failure, like, this is still good. If the APL want to keep this 3-year deal going, then I think they should, if they want to keep investing in it. But look, as long as it's fine with the fans. The grand final deal wasn't, but Unite round, it is 100% good with the fans because it's a one-off round, it's in the regular season. Like, that's pretty much it. It's just not the grand final or any finals match. If they're giving finals matches, if they're ripping home advantages away in finals games, then that's a serious problem. But if it's a regular season and if it's a one-off game, then it's fine. Like, it's fine. I really don't think Unite round deserves any sort of negativity at all. I really just don't think it deserves that negativity because it's Unite round and not the grand final deal. For everything the Unite round is going to bring over this weekend, it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be huge for the A-Leagues. It's going to be absolutely massive. And for everything else that comes with the fans, like accommodation discounts and passes and being able to attend multiple games, we all should enjoy that. We all should accept that and enjoy it. That's what Unite round is supposed to be. And I'm just so happy they decided to revert the grand final deal and give Unite round, because once again, this is what should have been done in the first place if the APL wants to invest in professional sport. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. I don't know if there's anything else to really talk about Unite round. I've talked about it. I've had my thoughts on it. I've gave my predictions, pretty much all that. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So I head off to Sydney in a couple days. I'm pumped for it. I'm extremely excited. If you don't get to go to Unite rounds, just please still enjoy it. Even if you won't be there, or if you just can't make it, like, still, please just enjoy and support Unite round for the A-Leagues, because yes, it's in Sydney, we won't be at our home, but then again, A-Leagues has done the best they can to make this in the best interest of fans with Unite rounds. So just please, as soon as Unite round happens, just do nothing but support it. The A-Leagues desperately needs its support. Unite round's gonna be no exception. Please support Unite rounds and the A-Leagues. That's pretty much that. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.